Hi everyone, this is Carl and this is AMBA 600 MBA Fundamentals, Stat 689 Excel Statistics Tutoring Forum. And in this video, we're just going to go over the statistical packages just that I mentioned in the overview video, particularly PHStat2, Microsoft Excel, which is the primary software when we're working, and StatCrunch, which is also available. So it's just going to give you a broad sense of all that's available and how it's a little bit different, just nuances. This is a brief video, so I won't get into too much detail to figure out how one delineate from the others, but just to give you a sense of the options available and what makes them different. So we're going to start off with the primary one for this course, and it's Microsoft Excel. If you're not familiar, it's one of the Office packages, and best way to show is to just kind of dive right into it. So we'll click on it, and this is basically the Excel overview right here. When you open Excel, this is Excel 2010, and when you think about just what you can do in this, it's very simple. If you have never worked in Excel, it's very much just this whole spreadsheet. These are called spreadsheets, and you can do pretty much dealing with data sets. For instance, you can say zip code, or better is gender. You can do male, female, and you just deal those kinds of data sets. That happens, and you can also create random numbers as well when you're thinking about just particular data sets, random in between 56 top or bottom rather, and maybe 115. So you do have a lot of options in Excel. Oops, gave me an error. Yep, we'll accept that. So particularly one of the things that is helpful in Excel is the fact that you can drag formulas. Since this formula will drag down, and now it's created a number. Essentially, with the random function in Excel, it creates a random number each time. And as such, because it's random, that number changes all the while. And also, it gives you a lot of options in terms of data analysis. So particularly when you think of data analysis, what is Microsoft Excel? Particularly, it's right here in the data function. If you go to the data tab, right there, and you go over here, data analysis. This is what you're really going to be working from, in addition to preparing and summarizing data and all those things that we'll get into in later videos. But the data analysis piece is critical. And as you can see here, these are all your options in working in Excel, specifically with statistics. Correlation, covariance, descriptive stats, we'll also get into that as well. Histogram, what's a histogram? It's basically a frequency diagram, and we'll get into that in later videos. Random number generation, as I've kind of mentioned here, it's on a larger scale, and at t-tests and z-tests, and what are those, kind of dealing with hypothesis testing. Regressions as well, they kind of use in hypothesis testing. So it's the primary vehicle. You can see how you have sort functions here in addition, so you have the ability to, through this command, create analyses and analyze the data with these functions, but you also have a lot of formulas at bay, and also you have a lot of tabs at bay. So it's one of the probably the most comprehensive and user-friendly software that's out there right now. And with specifically with this course, it actually shows you just a lot of options. There's also the what-if analysis here, which is almost in a similar way as with the if function here. So just brief over, I'll get to it a little bit later, but if you're using the if function, determining whether a condition is met. So what you can do, and this is in Excel, this is basically what we'll do is create a variable. So in essence, if this cell equals, we want to say, does it equal 103? We'll see how many 103s we get. Equal 103, then we do a comma. What's the value? We'll do a 1 if it's true, if it meets that condition, and do a 0 if it doesn't. And as you can tell, it doesn't meet it, so we'll click and drag, and we'll see. Now you'll notice that these numbers just changed. Now, the reason for that, is particularly to the random function, is that it's calculated every time the spreadsheet is manipulated. So a good way to fix that is to make sure we Control-C, we copy, but you can also do it this way too. Copy, and then we paste. Now the paste option in Excel is pretty straightforward. You have the options to do values and number formatting. Say, for instance, if you want to paste the percentages as opposed to pasting like the decimal points related to the percentages, such as 0.9 or 90%, that kind of thing. And the values in the source formatting. So we're going to do this one. And those numbers kept. So as you can see, there are no values that have 103. So let's change this up. Let's see if C1 is greater than or equal to 103. We'll try that out. See if we get any takers. So as you can tell right here, we just click and drag. It'll drag that formula and apply it to the corresponding cells. And see, you'll see right here, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one are greater than 103, so they meet that condition. So I just briefly, you can tell that this is just a small sliver of what's the differences in this data set and in this software. So now I'm going to show you the next one, which is StatCrunch. So particularly with StatCrunch, it's one of those softwares that is similar to Excel, but there are some differences. If anything, it's analogous to the data analysis tool pack. So it's not as much physical manipulation of the data per se as it is kind of more comprehensive auto functions. So we'll go ahead and click this on and try to see. And what this does, and just a note, it's statcrunch.com. So you log in the same way that you log into MyStatLab. So we sign in. Here's our username. Well, I'll just put mine right now. And then with password, and then we're in. And so this is kind of the main page based on my email address. And now we're going to open StatCrunch. I'm going to show you what this looks like. And you can kind of tell, particularly with this, what it is. And see, as you can see, and also key point is the tutorial if you want to play around with it just a little bit more. But, you know, whereas in Excel had the data analysis tool pack, in StatCrunch you have stat function. You have all these listings of proposed items. Now it's the same in Excel in the sense that there's cells per se. But if you notice up here, variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, a lot of your analyses will involve you identifying which variables you're working with, as opposed to highlighting them. So it's a key distinct difference. It's a little more referencing in StatCrunch, but it's just as comprehensive as Excel in terms of the options and all these analyses that you could do. Now these are the statistical analyses, such as summary stats, but you also have enough over on this side to kind of compute expressions. So expressions, what does that mean? What's an expression in this case? Just similar to what I've done with the if statement in the previous example, where you're creating a variable. If you want to have a 1-0 variable, I want to flag, I want to identify all the values of another variable that are greater than 5. You know, those kinds of things. That's what this expression function can do. So you can kind of see in this area that it gives you a little bit more comprehension in terms of the options here. And it's all kind of categories similar to the data analysis tool pack in Excel. But just a key point that it is, it's not as much manipulation manually as much as it is automated functions. So that's a key distinction. So now going to our final one, it's PHStat2. Now what is that? It's similar to Pearson, if you notice these two. It's an extension of Microsoft Excel, and it's more comprehensive, and it's a little bit of the detail that you see from StatCrunch. It's usually free. It comes with your textbook, rather. And so we're going to go ahead and show you real quick what that means. So after you download it from the Pearson website, you go into your file in Excel, and you go to Options. And after you download the add-in, and the add-in is going to look like, it's going to say add-in file. You put that in a folder, desktop, documents, you know, what have you, and you go to add-ins, and you add it in there. And you can see it's already been added in. But if you're looking to do it, you go to the Go button right here, and you browse, and you identify it as such. I mean, I deleted it, but it should be in your downloads, your desktop, or whatever, wherever you place it. And after you hit OK, you OK it, and then as soon as you do that, you'll see in the add-ins tab, it's right there. So, and after clicking on it, you'll see it's a little bit like StatCrunch in the sense of its organization. Now, some of these things that you actually can do from the data analysis tool pack, it's just a different organization, depending if you're more familiar with just kind of how it's categorized. It does help you kind of understand the nuances between some of these items, like a little more with respect to confidence intervals, you know, sigma, known, unknown, the population variance proportion, decision-making probabilities. It gives a little more detail to allow you to kind of delineate between, you know, the differences between binomial and normal probability. What's a normal distribution? Those kinds of things. It helps you kind of understand the function in itself conceptually, and not just as an Excel function itself, you know, binom or anything like that. It kind of helps you apply the concepts and its application in Excel. So, but again, with or without it, you can, with Excel or with PHStat or with them separately, you don't necessarily need PHStat to actually complete the assignment. It's just another option and an opportunity that you have to further understand it. So, just a key point. And actually, if you pare it down, it's StatCrunch or Excel, or either way can allow you to kind of work in it. But as I said before and emphasized before, that this is Excel is the primary option in this case, and it's recommended just based on just the layouts and the homework assignments. So, but just wanted to provide you a sense of all the other options that you can do, and understanding the nuances between the statistical packages when they come up. So I just hope this helps, and just let us know if you have any questions along the way. Thanks so much.